Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrot.
We're telling stories behind the digital art revolution
Each week we interview top artists.
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story. Yo, happy Thursday, everybody.
Happy Thursday with Tommy Wilson today.
What's up? Yo, that intro is sweet, I must say.
Thank you.
Big fan. Big fan.
That is all Parrot.
Good
Parrot
stuff.
is a man of many talents.
Got me properly hyped.
Yes.
Feels official when it goes, you know?
For sure. For sure.
So a lot of stuff to cover today. We're getting to health, right? Health is a big topic today. Put a thread out last week, got a big response to it. It's very clear that a lot of people are going through it right now, as am I. I'll get to that a little bit later, but let's give Tommy some shine first. We'll give Tommy Wilson some shine. Tommy, congrats on, I feel like another explosion this past week of interest. Darren Ravel throwing a tweet out there. For those who don't know, big sports personality was commenting on the Mo Rivera, your original drop through Nifty Gateway,
Totally,
some sales
yeah.
there. So, hey, congratulations on everything that's been happening.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like, I mean, crazy. Obviously, like this whole space is like blowing up so fast, and with like NBA Top Shot and stuff like that, more sports people are starting to get into it. So it's just like been crazy, the people that I'm getting to connect with. So that was really cool.
Yeah, Parrot, NBA Top Shot aficionado over there.
For real. Yeah, I remember Parrot was tweeting about it before I even knew about it.
Yeah, I was just lucky that I found it earlier on. I'm not a huge basketball guy either. So,
Right.
But I just saw some people talking about it over the summer, and I was like, duh. Like, this is
Why
gonna
not? Yeah.
be- yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Parrot, now you're the biggest basketball fan in the world, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's fun. I love that. I love that thing.
Q Films TV. Hi, guys. What's going on? Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we get a lot of that health community in here. So actually, let me just kick this off real quick, and then I'll kind of go around the room here. So
For sure.
let me lead with a bit of the stories. I think we're all, to some extent, going through it, right? There's some level, wherever you live, there's some level of quarantine going on. And then to top that off, the crypto art world, the digital art world at large is absolutely just face-meltingly fast right now. It's just moving so fast. There literally is a reason, like whatever you're focused on. If you're focused on the art, there's art 24/7. If you're focused on the trading of the art, the trading is going on 24/7. There's something to look at every minute, or create. There's something to look at or create every spare second of every day. And I personally, someone who's been in health and fitness for 12 to 13 years, I'm more off track now than I think I've been in any period of time over those 12 to 13 years, simply because of the time I'm spending behind the screen and not outside, right? And the world circumstances play into that too. So I started thinking part of the reason I tweeted that out is because I need that personal accountability too. And it's one of my favorite things to do. When you recognize something yourself, you say it, see if people share that feeling, and then hopefully you can all collaborate on something and bring each other up. And so wanted to throw that topic on the table today. I am going to do a workshop, no cost. This is no angle. I'm not trying to like create a digital art, fitness, and wellness business. I promise you, there's no backdoor sales funnel or anything. This is genuine. I'm feeling it. I know a lot of people out there are feeling it. So let's do it. And I wanted to offer some tangible actions. I'll start with one, and then we can go around and maybe you guys. Parrot, I know you just got some fitness equipment. I'm excited to hear you talk about that. And I will lead with this. I think the number one thing I will throw out there that I know works is something I call anchoring. It's not a novel concept, but you pick an activity in your day, preferably one that you know happens even though we're all obsessed with digital art and on our computers all the time. Maybe it's when you walk up to your computer. Maybe it's when you brush your teeth in the morning. Maybe it's prior to getting into bed at night. So to use those examples, it's do a set of 10 push-ups before you brush your teeth. It's when you walk to your desk, the first time you sit down in your desk, you do a little posture reframe. And I can get into more specifics on how to do these things, but you do a little posture check. You tuck your chin in, take a deep breath, loosen your jaw up, lift your chest, right? These kinds of things help. And the other one I gave was right before bed, right? Right before bed, drop down on the floor. You do a sequence of 3 yoga moves 3 times. Takes you a minute, relaxes you, decompresses you from probably, looking at that screen for a long time. That's one of my favorite things to do. Anchoring, you pick your activity. It happens on autopilot. You don't stress about it because before bed, I just do this for a minute and then I get in bed and you go back to your life. One of my favorite ways to take your fitness up one notch.
Nice. That's really good, actually. I should start doing something like that.
Hey, this is why we're here, right? This is why we're here.
Yeah, I dig that too. And I think that something that works for me really and has worked for me with like baseball and just everything is like a super like as solid as you can, like have a routine and like with your like yoga poses and or whatever you're doing. I think like consistency is super, super important. Whether that's like eating healthy or stretching or whatever you're doing, like to get better, health and fitness wise, a super, super consistent routine is like super key. So like stretching every morning or like something simple, whatever you're doing, just make sure you like have a set time for that. And like, or like, even if it's like for somebody like me, who I actually need to put like a little more time into my art, it's like a routine. It's like, okay, I'm going to do my art from like this time to this time. So I think consistency and routine is like super, super important.
I love that. And to double down on like another reason why, so you don't stress about it, right?
Totally.
If it's on your calendar, if you kind of know it's happening, then you're not, I always say if it's on your calendar at 10 a.m., you're not sitting around at 9 a.m. wondering if you should do it, right?
Exactly.
On your calendar for 10 a.m. Whereas if you don't have it on your calendar, sometimes I find myself it's like 1 o'clock. I'm like, should I do it now? Nah. 2 o'clock, should I do it now? And it's on your mind all day long. It just wears you down.
Yeah,
Totally.
I do that kind of shit too much. Yeah. I think the first time, like, I kind of do that with everything my whole life, even going back to like being in high school and missing out on homework and studying because of that kind of like procrastination and stuff. And it's in your mind the whole day and it just like messes your whole day up. I think the first time I ever really broke out of that was doing an everyday series with my art, kind of like what Tommy said. When you schedule that art, you don't even think about it. It just becomes a habit and it's just something you do every day. Mm-hmm. So I think, that consistency with healthy routines is probably like the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot.
Absolutely.
And the rebuttal is like a loss of freedom. I hear this a lot. It's like, I'm losing my freedom if it's too structured, or I'm losing my freedom if it's too disciplined. And there's like one of those organizational gurus, I forget, is it David Allen or something along those lines, but he's, there's freedom in structure, and it's kind of flipping that line of logic on its head. It's saying there are things that I believe in. There are things that I know I have to do to feel well, just straight up to feel well. And so those things, like I'm going to structure them, and it's not a loss of freedom. It actually grants you your freedom back. As just like you said, it's on your mind, right? It's on your mind all day. It gives you that whole mind share back. You're not thinking about it outside of the time that has been blocked off to do it, to prioritize it. So I love that. What's up, Odious? Odious has arrived. How are we all doing today? Doing well, man. Thank you for joining us. Tommy, what's on your mind today?
Man, I mean, health and well-being, I guess. I'm kind of like running through some, I guess, like injury stuff at the moment, as far as baseball goes. And I'm trying to get like my body right before like spring training coming up here pretty soon for the minor leagues. So yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that. Just like I've got like, I guess a little over a month now projected, whether, that goes well with COVID or whatnot, a little over a month before spring training. So that's definitely on the mind, making sure that I'm in like tip top shape, within the next month and a half. So making sure like my nutrition's locked in and like, getting my workouts in and all that. And then obviously like what else is on the mind? How could I not be thinking about what's going on with crypto art and everything? So that's what's going on for me. But
so let's pull back a second, because you are wearing two hats, right? You're wearing the New York Mets hat and you're also wearing the digital art hat. And I think that's a powerful thing, because it's like you're getting it done. You're in there doing both things. So how do you keep it in perspective? You're working, we see it, you're getting better and better and better just with your artistic craft. It's amazing, right? So how are you doing that and also finding time to stay top notch on the baseball front?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I was saying about routine. I have like my set routines like through the weekdays. I have like an allotted time where I go in to go work out at the place that I go work out at. My allotted times where I'm going to throw, and my friends who I'm going to throw with. Like it's all pretty structured, I'd say. Like some days we'll change up the times, but it's super structured. So I basically like kind of split my day in half. So like the first half of the day is dedicated to baseball, getting my workout in, getting my throwing in, whatever I need to do. And then I come back and, get my like nutrition, protein, whatever. And then second half of the day is like, semi dedicated to art and getting better and working on my next drop or my next project and whatnot. Typically more like into the later hours, which I should probably try to like adjust a little bit and get it done a little earlier. But I feel like I'm the most creative late at night. So I'm typically working on stuff till the later hours. But yeah, so I kind of just split my days in half, honestly. And it's been crazy busy, but I mean, it's a blast. So, and I'm super like blessed to be able to do both. So
do you find yourself thinking about what happens more? Thinking about baseball while you're focusing on art, or thinking about art while you're focusing on baseball?
I'd say currently it's thinking about art while I'm working on baseball for sure. Just because I'm not like in season. I'm sure once I'm actually in season, I'll be like 80% focused on baseball, and then like I'll be in the dugout watching a game, and I'll probably be thinking, oh, I wonder what's going on like on Twitter, or like like maybe I'll miss a drop because like can't have my phone in the dugout, and I'll be like, dang, like I wonder. but for now, it's definitely I'll be thinking about art when I'm working out for sure.
We have Daniel Taylor, by the way, in here. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. We hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining us. Parrot, I'm gonna tease out on Twitter for everybody who might be joining us in just a little bit. But why don't you take the reins here? I feel like I've talked a lot about health. Can you share with me something that has entered your household this past week? And also, this is a strong man. Why don't you take it from there?
We got the pull-up bar now in the house, which has been nice.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's just like a little thing that is like a constant reminder every time I walk through my door into my studio that I should be focusing on my strength and my health. I'll do push-ups sometimes, but there's no real like trigger for me to do push-ups. I'll just be like, oh, I should do some push-ups. But having like that visual representation there now, that's just like always there, has been helpful, and it reminds me to do it a lot more. So that's been something I've added to my life recently. I've been trying to eat healthier. I got a salad and some green juice for
love that.
Okay. Yeah. Getting some nice nutrients and vitamins. I think where I'm struggling the most though is consistent sleep schedule. Because I mean, these past few weeks have just been so crazy that like I'm just so excited 24/7. I'm like, I don't want to go to bed. I want to like do art or look at art or go on Twitter and see what everyone else is up to. So
I definitely feel that it's tough to keep that consistent sleep schedule, but it's like so important, like for like recovery and all that. So, but it's tough. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
How much are you guys sleeping? What's your current sleep schedule in all its glory or lack thereof?
5 hours a night.
I probably get like, I mean, it depends on the day, but like on average, I'd probably say 8.5 or 9.
Oh, Tommy's still a legend these days. 8.5 or 9 in the current space is like 12.
It depends on the day. That's not like every day, but that's like, I'd say like on average.
You are also moving a ton though. Like you're throwing in, you're getting your working out in, you're getting your rehab in, like whatever the day calls for. I feel like physical activity always lends itself to actually needing the sleep a bit more.
Totally. It'll wear you out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I feel is important about exercise is it like makes you tired.
Yeah. Right.
Your body's like, I need to go to sleep right now.
Forces you to get some good sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say like 5 hours on average. And then I'll usually take like a nap at some point during the day. A little like anywhere from a half hour to an hour power nap midday after some lunch or something.
Love that.
Yeah. Usually I'm like you though. Usually I get 8.5, 9 hours of sleep.
I mean,
in my like healthy, usual, non-crazy NFT market state of mind.
Right. It's like there's something going on like 24/7 and you're like trying to like keep up.
Mhm.
Since NFTs entered my life, like I have not slept more than 5 hours in a night. I feel like
Oh my God.
it just doesn't happen.
We've done all
You know what the problem is though? When my eyes open in the morning, whenever that is, I mean, whenever that is, like it could be 3:47.
Right.
I'm just not getting. Immediately I'm thinking about something, and there's no shutting back down. So I guess keeping with the health and fitness theme, my biggest advice for people: bank your sleep on the front end. Don't be like, I'm just going to stay up a little later, and I'll just sleep in a little bit more tomorrow. I always find that either it doesn't end up happening that way, or it ends up being worse sleep. So my advice would be, if at all possible, like try to bank it on the front end, try to nudge the front end maybe 15, 30 minutes forward. It'll pay a lot more dividends than doing it the other way.
Totally agree.
Yeah. I'm like you, dude. I'll wake up and just like immediately be like, all right, time to start the day. Let's go get it.
It's on.
Yeah. I think the things that have helped me in my life before that I need to implement again have been like 10 minutes of meditation first thing when I wake up before I check my phone, where I just sit there with my eyes closed and focus on my breathing, set a timer or something like that. Meditation's always been really hard for me to do consistently every day for some reason. I think because in my head, it's like I'm wasting those 10 minutes when I could be doing something. Mm-hmm. But in actuality, those 10 minutes help clear my mind to let me be more productive for the whole entire day. So just putting that out there because it's something that's helped me. I'm going to try to do that again. Wake up, not check my phone right away, and just sit there and breathe.
Sounds like an origin stories challenge right there, Parrot. I love that. It's proactivity versus reactivity. It's starting the day proactively, like giving your mind an opportunity to be original and yourself right before being like inundated from every angle on Twitter and Discord and anything that we all might be checking on a daily basis. So, dude, great advice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take my own advice.
Let's do it. Even if it's just this crew, who can take the origin stories challenge for tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, Friday, February 26th, can you wake up, however stressful it is in the moment, and not reach for anything for 10 minutes?
Totally. And it's like a good opportunity for you to like a lot of the reason behind meditation is like controlling your breathing and like controlling your mind. And like, I think the challenge there is for, when your mind wanders, like while you're sitting there focusing on your breathing, your mind wanders to like, NFTs, whatever's going on in your life. And it's like to bring back that focus, like on your breath, on your breathing, on like just your current, state where you are. So it's like definitely improves that level of focus, I think.
Yeah. It's like how exercise is discipline for the body. That's discipline for your thoughts.
for the mind. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Max Kolchinsky. Hey guys, what's going on, Max? Thank you for joining the stream. Let's see. Tommy.
What's up?
You have an origin story coming tomorrow.
I do. That was a blast.
Yeah, man. It was a great conversation. I can't wait to share it. Can't wait to share it with the world. Anything in there come to your mind today? Give people a little bit of a teaser on, a part of the conversation you enjoy, just something you want to tease out and share with people now so they tune in later.
I think I was inspired to reach out to some people as far as like collaborations go and just chatting about art in general. Mm-hmm. So as far as that goes, since that conversation, I've reached out to some people and I've got some fun things coming. So I'm excited about that. And it was good to talk about and sort of get me motivated. So
collaboration engine. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait I mean, I'm not going to press you too hard, but yeah, can't wait to see who it ends up being.
Yeah. Because I think usually like, I don't know, I try to like do my own thing and I don't want to like push people to like make some art with me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just more like, reaching out to people, chatting about art, and, like if it happens to, like if we happen to align and want to collab, like sick. Like if not, like I made a new friend, like,
Yep.
So
It's good philosophy.
Totally.
There's a question for you, actually for both of you. Pose it to Tommy and Parrot from Max Kolchinsky. Are you guys personally excited when you see a piece of yours resold, or sometimes disappointed?
I think I'm most of the time excited. I like to see, people, or mostly new collectors, I'd say, like who are picking up stuff off the secondary market. And obviously, I'm never upset about the 10%, secondary, the royalty and whatnot. So yeah, I'd say I'm mostly excited about stuff being resold in the secondary. People are interested in my art. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm, disappointed at that.
And I gotta just fess up. It's confessional time. And you know this because I DM'd you right away. Even kind of like before it went down a little bit as to what was a lower offer, and then ultimately when it transpired. But
right.
I sold your Mariano Rivera jersey number 42 of 50.
Right.
So it all it synced up. I felt okay letting go of the Yankee at the jersey number level of price.
Totally. Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's understandable, it is what it is. And it's funny because like, you don't know like what's going to happen in this space. Like you sell that Mariano Rivera, and it's, you resell it and whatnot, and, everybody's happy. And then like 2 days later, Darren Rovell tweets about it. And it's like, how are you supposed to know that's going to happen? And it creates a little buzz around the piece a little bit. So it's like, there's only so much you can do, so it's all good. It's all good.
Well, I hope it just continuously multiplies to further jersey numbers up in the stratosphere.
Further jersey numbers. Yeah.
That would be great.
I'm down for it.
I also felt better because now I have the Tommy Wilson Super Rare Genesis piece. I feel a lot better about my life. And Mariano Rivera can go pitch for someone else for a little while.
There you go. That works. I'm all for it.
Parrot, what about you, man?
Oh man, sometimes I don't know. I think it's mixed. Sometimes, like I guess, if it's a collector that I don't know personally, and they resell it, I'm like, cool. But if it's someone that I like really talked to and like bonded with, and they're like, I really like this piece of art, and we talked about it and like worked something out, and then they resell it without telling me, it does kind of hurt a little bit. Like it feels like it's like such a personal thing. But that's what I guess my experience on Super Rare. It's but at the same time it's like this double-edged sword, because at the same time I'm like super excited that like a collector could take my art or buy my art from me and then make money off of it, and someone else gets like having a healthy secondary market, I think, is important. Mm-hmm. Because it shows that your art has an appreciating value. So from a business standpoint, I do like seeing that. From like a personal artistic standpoint, it's like bittersweet, I think on Nifty too, it might be a little bit different. We'll see. My Nifty drop's coming up, so we'll see how the secondary market goes. They have such a different dynamic on their secondary market than most websites do. I think most platforms. It's much more of like this flipping, trading, like always on, always on kind of thing. So I don't think I'll have that same like personal connection to all their collectors that buy it too, especially because it's editions as well. Mm-hmm. Versus like Super Rare, where it's a one of one and only one person can have it. And with my one of ones, I do really like them to be in collectors that I like collection, because it does feel like a little piece of my soul a little bit.
Yeah, I think I have a like different understanding because I started with Nifty Gateway, kind of had those like editions or whatever, and then I actually just recently had my first like Super Rare secondary resell. So I had never even like experienced that before, but I was like, whoa, like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Cause like, obviously I think like most of the collectors, at least for me, and I think for you, Parrot, as well, like on Super Rare, like we've connected with on Twitter and whatnot. So like we have like a friendship with them. So it's definitely a different feel for sure.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's interesting platform dynamics, right? At every level, from a collector perspective, from an artist perspective, just it means something. It sets the tone for what to anticipate in primary, in secondary, and on and on. So I can see that very clear difference between the nifty side of things, the super rare side of things, Maker's Place, maybe even somewhere in between. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't really found much emotional attachment or anything when people flip some of my stuff I put on Rarible back in the day either, though. So I think that's more akin to just maybe the 1-of-1 versus multiple edition difference, where like if it's a 1-of-1, it's just like that much more special or like personal or something like that.
You have an attachment to the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, 1-of-1 definitely does level it up. It takes it to a whole new place.
Yeah, I think so.
Even in terms of the hype machine, you don't see a lot of 1-of-1s flip, even on Nifty. You know, it happens. Don't get me wrong. By the way, shout out Beeple yesterday.
Yeah.
Talk about setting a tone for an auction.
Totally.
Right.
So
yeah, I think the people who are collectors that go in for a 1-of-1 are definitely going in, you know, for the collecting sake and for, you know, keeping it for a long time and enjoying it.
Yep.
Not to say that people who buy editions aren't doing the same thing. Of course, there are many people who are doing the same thing, but I think more so with a 1-of-1, people have an attachment to the artwork and are really, really into it.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
The Face Studio in here. What's up, man? Max, thanks for answering. You got it, of course. By the way, if anyone wants to fire, if anyone's on here for the health aspect today, Parrot's bringing another guest.
Love it.
You know, stuck in the window curtains.
Yeah. If anyone wants to drop any final, what's up, health and wellness questions to the chat now, then you can drop it on Twitter or whatever. It'll all come up in the chat. Let us know that now, because we are going to bring on our other surprise guest of the day momentarily.
Yup. About that time.
Yep. What's up, Lauren? This is my baby Sonia.
It was true.
All right. Well, to wrap that up, if there are no additional questions now, I am going to run a full workshop. Like I said, there's no angle. It's free. I need it. I know a lot of you need it. We'll jam. I will share as much wisdom as I can from my 12 to 13 years in that industry. Just like today, so to recap some of the stuff, it's like the anchors that you can use, a regular life activity that you can attach something very, very small from the health and wellness perspective to. Tommy, you talked about keeping a schedule, like prioritization of that schedule.
Yeah.
Parrot, you jammed on meditation.
Meditation. Yeah.
Meditation. Bro, oh my God. How the Origin Stories Challenge originated by Parrot, and I'm just kind of running with this thing. First 10 minutes of your morning, tomorrow, Friday, February 26th. Can you do it? Can you not pick up your phone for 10 minutes and stay on the proactive side before it starts to fly? That's the challenge for tomorrow. I think someone's here.
Oh, let's bring him up. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey,
There he is.
what's going on?
Welcome.
Thank you. So nice to meet you, Tommy.
Nice to meet you as well.
It's my first time chatting with you, I think, so it's a pleasure.
For sure. It's a pleasure as well.
Amazing.
And for anyone who doesn't know or can't read the screen, this is Euphoria, by the way. Euphoria is a fantastic artist who is dropping tonight on Nifty Gateway. He was nice enough to carve out some time on, I can only imagine what's going through your mind today, just a few hours before the drop itself. But thank you for coming on.
My brain is on overdrive right now. I had so much to do, but I just ended up like replying to a bunch of like heartwarming messages online. So I'm excited.
Yeah, buddy. It looks really good, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's sick.
Thank you.
I'm gonna grab a few myself.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild moment. I'm gonna try to enjoy it as much as I can. I'll be spending the time with my roommates. I think they're trying their luck as well on the opens. And yeah, it's just gonna be awesome. This whole day has been a blessing, and thanks for having me right now. It's so awesome, and I'm actually wondering what was the topic before, because I'm just coming in just like that. I don't want to break the flow.
No, we're talking health and wellness a little bit, trying to give people a few actionable tips in this time and space. We were congratulating Tommy for getting some hype from Darren Ravel this past week on the sports front, shouting out his first drop and one of the particular pieces in that drop. And other than that, just hanging out before it's what we do here.
That's amazing. Wow, I love it.
Let's see. We have Nalik 10, high five. What's going on today? Odia says Euphoria. Also back today, Odia said absolutely not on the Origin Stories challenge. But he will try. Travis Rag says yo. Cataloo Design gives a heart, and then Apoxia says good luck today with the drop, Alexi.
I appreciate it. I recognize all those names, and I'm really glad that they are listening right now. It's awesome.
And Apoxia also adds, it's exciting to see your 3D skill developing, Tommy.
Much appreciated.
I gotta check this out. Do we have a link or something that I can...
Oh gosh.
What, the rolling chat, you mean?
The 3D stuff.
Oh, Tom, Parrot, can you share?
I sure can.
Let's do this. Let's get Tommy's 3D work up on Super Rare.
I'm like, yeah, this is nerve-wracking, man.
Here we go.
I post my stuff, and I know that Parrot and Euphoria and all these sick 3D artists see my stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm not on their level, but I'm working, I'm trying my best, working hard, to keep getting better and get on your guys' level, man. Your stuff is sick.
That's totally fair, and I feel the same when looking at other people's work all the time.
Right.
So we all feel the same way, and I don't consider myself to be a 3D maniac. I feel I'm doing my thing and that's it. So no shame at all. Honestly.
Yeah, I feel you.
Guys,
wait till you see the man with no name.
Bad news, guys.
Bad news?
My Google Chrome is frozen again.
Oh no.
Oh man.
I was 10 times I tried to share on StreamYard.
All right, anybody at home, if you happen to have a super rare ability to pull up a super rare tab, pull up Tommy Wilson and specifically take a look at, this is my bias, but specifically take a look at the man with no name and how sick the alignment of that piece is in execution.
Yeah, that's definitely a favorite. So it's probably some bias here as well. I'm a big fan of that one. That was a kind of a breakthrough for me, as far as 3D art goes, I think.
How many bullets were in the...
It was something 420 or 620 or something.
That's a lot.
Oh, I saw that. I think
something like that.
I saw the.
It was
Oh, that's it. Yeah, the bullets. That was rad.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. It's kind of as I'm learning, it's a style that I can execute, while still learning and stuff. And it's a fun style. So.
Tommy, Travis Rag says, that's sick. And how did you figure out the distribution?
Yeah, that's so cool.
So it kind of started with the jump throw constellation, the Derek Jeter piece. I had this idea of in my head, months and months and months ago, of a constellation that looked like Derek Jeter doing his jump throw. And then from the other angle, it looked like his jersey number. So then I finally figured out how to do that in Blender, in the 3D software. And then it kind of stemmed from there. I was like, okay, what else could I do with this? And then for that one, yeah, it's just essentially there's no trick or anything. I'm just placing each bullet one at a time, making sure it fits in the face. Okay, it fits in his hat. Now I go to the other angle, fits in the gun, or it doesn't fit. I've got to move it, got to go back, just one by one. And then that's essentially it.
That's how magic happens.
That's how it happens. It's a little painstaking, but I like the end result. So,
how much time do you spend on a piece like that?
jump out of here real fast and jump back in so I can refresh my browser for you guys.
Sure.
No problem.
Be back in 30 seconds.
All right.
How long? I think I was working on that one for like probably 3 weeks, maybe.
Wow. Props.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
I like the one with the bulbs, the perfectionist.
Oh yeah.
Really
That was a fun
cool.
one too.
Nice stuff, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
But yeah, I also saw the baseball bat, the
Oh,
collab with Carlos. Such a cool guy. That was
That's
cool.
cool.
Ah, there you
Got the
go.
bat.
That's so nice.
I just have it here, so
It's a special
Yeah.
moment.
this is a
Wow.
good one, and I'm still have it here.
It's one of the only Tommies available, right?
Yeah, it sure is.
Mhm.
But I'm not too upset about it. I enjoy keeping this thing, but
Yeah.
once somebody decides to grab it, it'll be on their way.
Then you will lose a form of personal security in the house.
Right? No, I got more bats. Don't worry.
Defend yourself with art. Let's
Yeah.
go. I love this.
Yeah.
So Cataloo Design says that piece is awesome. It def shows the time you spent doing that heart to Tommy.
Appreciate that.
Euphoria, question for you. This is your second drop, right? This is your
Yeah.
second nifty drop. What's the difference? So first drop, maybe a bit more unexpected. How do the emotions compare from day to day?
Oh, well, first drop was like me trying to learn the space, Parrot. Because it was a series that I've already made in the past, So when I chat with Tommy, we were like, okay, maybe for a first drop, it could be cool to release something that people are already familiar with. So at least the work that's presented, people love it already. And so it's not like that big of a risk. But then initially it was supposed to be only the 3 pieces of the series. But then after seeing so many people coming up with new stuff, I was like, God, I got to find some cool twist to this. So I had this idea of like creating a 4th piece, like a 4th installment of that series. And Intricacy was born, the animation, the auction piece of that first drop. So it felt really special to revisit that project because I did this back in 2018. So I had to re-download the Octane version I had back then because the shaders would not come up the same with the new version. So I had to run on the old Octane for the whole project. That was quite crazy. But people enjoyed it. And for this drop, well, like I had this mindset of creating something just completely new, something that was more tailored for such a platform, like a series, a few different visuals, and also like I wanted to go deeper within my concepts. And somehow it's kind of funny how both drops just relate to each other somehow with this idea of facade and revealing what's underneath. And then what I'm finally revealing to the world are those fears. And so it all comes full circle. And so right now it's just a whole new different thing. And I'm so happy with the result for real. I hope that answers your question.
It does. And also to reveal what was underneath this time around, has anyone else noticed the level of Alexi's trailers? Or I guess better put, like the build up, the post by post reveal of the drop itself. I've just been blown away by that execution.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought I was planning that out for a long time. This idea of starting with those silhouette figures and saying something like, "Am I ready to reveal what they truly are?" Just to make people wonder what it could be about. And then I released the tracks with the titles. Somehow I made this kind of sentence that was kind of a summary of the whole concept, but just a few words. And so people could see the color palettes and the sounds. And then I dropped a trailer which revealed all the characters, and people just loved it. I was so happy. So yeah, I spent so much time just figuring out the wording. All my posts were carefully planned ahead. Like nothing was left randomly. It was all like purposely like crafted to make it as impactful as possible.
The art before the art.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And you do music too, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't have my synths with me today, but I'm using the Minilog and the Prophet.
Yeah.
Those are like my two babies.
Awesome.
That and my PC, of course, but I I just love creating the music. Initially, I was planning on inviting someone to do the score, but I just came to realize that, like, talking about such a personal topic, it meant much more sense to do it myself and express all I had to say through the sound. Because if someone else did it, would have been great, but it's not my voice. So yeah, the music aspect to me is as important as the visuals, and I hope that people take the time to listen to the tracks because I feel like they add so much to those characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I like your style of music a lot. That it definitely stuck out to me. Like when I realized that you were doing the music for it too, and how well they fit together. Just with like the Instagram previews that I saw. I always end up seeing your stuff more on Instagram than Twitter for some reason.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't
Well,
go on Instagram that much, but when I do, it's always like your posts are always the first on there.
Yeah, well, there's more people on Instagram. I feel like that follow me, so it's normal. But yeah, glad to hear that, and likewise, because I know that you also do your own music, and it's pretty dope, man. The sound design is always like top notch. I mean it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. I feel kind of the same as you that like it's just another like extension of my creativity, and
Yeah.
it's cool to put both of those two things together into one like meaningful piece.
Yeah, and don't you feel like, when you might be stuck on something visually, but then you can kind of shift your creative brain to something else, and like creating those tracks can be really like a release when you're having a hard time with the visuals.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
that's something that happens to me. So when I come to play music, it's like refreshing.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, me too, man, for sure. If I get a creative block in like in either visual or music, I can switch to the other one and usually work through it that way easier.
Yeah, that's just the best. Like having those different mediums to play with is so awesome, and it's rewarding when it comes together and it works super well. Super well. It's the best feeling, honestly.
You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like Tommy Wilson training for baseball and then coming home to work on his craft.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Sure. Can be a release for either, I guess. Yeah, right.
That's your form of music.
Yeah, that's true.
Painting corners with that fastball.
Corners, my other form of art, I guess. Yeah.
That's so cool. Do you feel like your work, Tommy, can feel like an escape from, because I feel like being a sports player can be tough on the mental and physical sides. Do you feel like when you're working on your art, you can a bit like forget about it and be more somewhere else and just enjoy the moment? Like, does it feel like that for you when you create stuff?
Yeah, I think a little bit. It definitely like I've gotten my mind on art a lot, and when I'm working on art, I'm like fully in on art. I'm not even thinking about like baseball or anything else. But it'll be interesting once our season starts, like to see what happens. Like once I start making art, like am I thinking about our game tomorrow or like my start tomorrow? And I'm like, while I'm making my art, so that'll be interesting, because I've really started this like art journey during, since our season got canceled and once we had to quarantine and stuff. So I've never really done like both at the same time, like during season.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
So that'll be a new challenge and something interesting that I'll figure out. So we'll see.
Yeah, you'll have to find that balance between both. It's gonna be an interesting challenge.
I think it'll be fun though, and I think that I'll be able to kind of like use what's going on during season and like sort of like put that out into my art, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, whether things are, going great or going bad, like I think I'll be able to like, put that into, my art and my design and whatnot.
Yeah, for real.
Do you find other players on your team, do they have creative outlets as well?
I'd say not many of them. I don't like, I guess I'm trying to think of, like, I have a few friends from like my hometown who are also in like professional baseball and whatnot. And I mean, they do like some like reading and stuff like at the field and whatnot. I'm trying to think like what outlets, because we have so much time to spend at the field. So I'm like trying to think what other guys do. But I'd say there's not that many like creative minded guys, I guess, like within baseball. There are most of them are 100% in on baseball, and which is awesome and which is great. But yeah, I'd say most of the guys are not as creative minded, I'd say, as I am.
Yeah. I feel like it's a unique balance that you have. I feel like, at least in the people in my life who have gone the sports path full on, like, or the creative path full on, I feel like there's not usually that much like mixing of those worlds. So it's cool to have you here being like this like shining example of that.
Totally. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing baseball my whole life, but also like I have a super like creative and artistically oriented family. So I've always sort of been doing something, whether that's like music or, playing guitar at my local church and whatnot. And, so I've always kind of been doing something creative, but I've never, I don't think, gone to this level, like artistically, I guess, per se.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's catch up on some comments here real quick. We got Hobo Mango says, excited to hear from you legends. Deface Studio, I was looking through Euphoria's Behance earlier. His work is consistently beautiful. Asim Kamuka, I'm going to go with, gives a hello. What's going on, Asim? How are you? And Hobo Mango, actually, I'll get back to that question in a second. All right, I got a question. I need a pronunciation. I do this all the time. I see a name, I have it in my head. I don't know whether that pronunciation is correct. So I want to give a shout out to, is it S. Machia? Do you know Euphoria?
Yeah, I know. It's S. Makia.
S. Makia. All right, I apologize. Yeah. We got it right now, but S. Makia says, gang, thank you for joining us here.
What up?
Travis Rag says, S. Makia, yo. To go back to a question from Hobo Mango, by the way, S. Makia has some sick art in her own right.
Yeah.
Just to give that shout out real quick.
Totally.
Definitely notice that. Hobo Mango, for someone starting out, what are everyone's thoughts on one-of-one editions versus multiples?
So it depends on so many things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It depends on the style of art, for one. Some people like are awesome at making collectible like styles, like whether it's like cool animations of cards, or if it's like different characters and stuff like that like can be put in like an edition number or a collectible kind of feeling to it. It just depends like on what you want to do, honestly, in my opinion. It's also depends on the platform. Obviously, super rare, you can only do one-on-ones, and that's what all the collectors there are looking for, versus Rarible, Bitsky, OpenSea. Then you have more creative freedom with how you want to release your art. It depends so much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
By the way, Hobo Mango, if you have any additional comments, feel free to drop them in. Just kind of what platform you're looking at, what the situation, give us a little color and context. Maybe we can hone in that advice. But yeah, Tommy, anything come to mind for you? Or let's go back to the start. You actually dropped a little bit of the story on the pod, but you can keep spoiling the origin story a little bit.
Sure,
it'll work out for you.
Are you saying my first drop?
Yeah, exactly. How did that line up in the first place when you were maybe starting to look at the space?
Yeah. So I was like brand new to the space, just making some art with my free time, just like kind of for fun. I reached out to Nifty Gateway, and they were down to have a drop with me, which was awesome. And that was way back in July, which feels like 10 years now. So I think, I was one of the earlier drops. I did like a pack drop. So there was like editions, and also a one-on-one, which I thought was, perfect for me, being like I was doing sports art. So I wanted it to feel like opening a pack of baseball cards, basketball cards, whatever. So I thought that was a really, really awesome way to get jump started and get into this. But yeah, I totally agree with Parrot. I think it's really, really dependent on the art, the platform, like what your goals are. I know I have different, like me personally, like I have different goals for each platform, and I'm like super focused on my one of ones right now, just because like that's where I'm at, like with my art, and like I'm super into like improving my 3D, and I really like value the time that I put into those, and because the time that I put into those 3D works, I just like it as a one of one, just because I have more of an attachment to it. So it just depends on the situation, I think.
Cool. I just found out we can show comments on the screen.
Oh, you just
saw
did
that.
that, Parrot? Nice work, man.
That's cool.
All right.
But it does sound like, real quick, the color and context, thank you for answering, just started minting on Rarible. So you know, hone it into Rarible. My perception is Rarible is a bit more of an anything goes platform. I mean, you can kind of call your shot out there. I think additions definitely are expected in some instances, in some cases. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I think Rarible really shines with multiple editions, in my opinion, anyways. I think there might be some better platforms. Like I'd recommend like Bitski for 101s, maybe. I feel like that would be a cool route. Rarible, I've done 101s on Rarible a few months ago, back when maybe like September or something like that. I did a few 101s, but I always find editions just thrive there, and that's usually what the collector base is also looking for. I don't think that many collectors go to Rarible looking for 101s that much. Some do though. I don't know.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Tommy just dropped the GOAT. Just dropped a 7 edition GOAT, right, in honor of 7 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, I think I agree with the Rarible for editions, and I think it's a fun place, at least for me. Like I wasn't planning a drop necessarily. I mean, I had it in mind, like, oh, if he wins, maybe I'll go for it. But it's kind of just like, I think, yeah, a looser feel, and at least for me, I just kind of like drop on Rarible, like, you know, like kind of more sporadically and randomly, just for like fun additions, just to kind of, you know, I guess broaden my horizon of, you know, whatever collectors want to, you know, maybe get something for cheaper. So.
Hey, Euphoria, from Kylan, what do you guys think about Foundation? What do you think of Foundation?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I think, well, I actually talked about this yesterday on the Clubhouse, but I feel like I really like the curation that's being done, but I feel like it's also caused because they let artists invite artists on the platform, you know, with those invites. I feel like this is awesome because it kind of reduces the gatekeeping, because, you know, like platforms like Super Rare and Nifty Gateway, they're so overwhelmed that I can totally understand why they are not able to respond to everybody and let everybody have their chance to shine. So a platform like that where you can, I figure it should not be too hard to find someone who could lend you an invite to get on the platform and start minting, you know. So I feel like this is pretty awesome, and gotta be honest, their UI is cool and refreshing, so it stands out from the rest. So props to them for that, really.
Yeah, I'll go off what Euphoria said. I was thinking pretty much the same thing. I think it's really cool how they let the artists do the curating. I think that's really important. Artists have good taste in art, in my opinion. like stuff and be like, oh, that's from a tutorial, and or that's from like, you know, that's copying this guy's work, versus, oh, this is super awesome and original. And I think having that kind of insight really helps create quality in one place. People who curate for other websites might not have that insight because they don't spend their whole entire day thinking about like how to create the coolest art. But artists do that. So and know their friends that create awesome art, and probably want to put their friends on who they think are going to succeed. Yeah. So I haven't really taken that much time to dive into Foundation, but I have heard really, really good things from other artists about it, and it does have a really good user interface. It's a pretty website, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty.
Thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
Are you drinking beer over there?
No. I get that all the time. It's just like a glass of water. But
I thought Euphoria was throwing down some Pabst on stream. I was like, all right.
The health
Yeah.
check today.
Pre-drop.
I could benefit from a beer right now, honestly, to just chill out a bit. But I'll have something later, closer to the drop. That's for sure.
That would have been too classic.
Yeah.
And we did. I don't know. We did the whiskey roundtable with Bill Ellis and Eric. And
That was awesome.
it would have been great to have like the one man beer show. We would have had to all like run real quick and get something and
Right.
throw up a cheers.
Yeah, drinking pass at like 4 p.m. That's just
Yeah.
awesome.
Alexi, man, anything goes on your drop day. You know that.
Yeah.
Totally. Agreed.
Yeah.
Like a holiday, personal holiday.
Yeah, it's yeah. I just did one thing and I couldn't do anything else, so I'm fine with that. I have accepted it.
Wait, Alexi, can I tell the story of our Twitter DM the other day?
Yeah,
It's not-
sure.
It's not incriminating. I think it's just a laugh. So I was like, "You ready for your drop, man? Like, are you excited?" And then Alexi was like, "Yeah, I just got a new washing machine." I was like,
Yeah.
Stoked about that.
Yeah, actually, it's just because I suck with some English words. It's the drying machine. What do you call it?
"Oh, the dryer."
The dryer.
Yeah, it's the dryer that broke, but it was easier for me to say the washing machine. But yeah, my roommate somehow, well, I don't think he broke it, but he's the last one to have used it before it breaks. So he's suspicious.
Yeah.
And we had to go, was it on Tuesday morning?
I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Got to wake up and buy a new dryer. It's supposed to come tomorrow. I'll be the only one here to receive it. Like reality check.
Yeah, and that was what it was. Because talking from my perspective, like the three of you, right? Parrot, Tommy, Alexi, Euphoria, like you guys are doing the thing, you know. And from my perspective, everyone, the whole spaces, right? All artists, call it stock. Maybe it's I'm looking for a different word, but you get what I'm saying. It's all rising, right? Everyone's craft is rising. The respect for that craft is rising. The reach of the space is rising. Everyone's going up. So, you know, I'm in there. I'm like doing the origin story stuff. And, you know, before we released your episode the day before, I'm like, yeah, let me check in with him and see how he's doing before the drop. So I'm thinking, you know, off in this superhero land, like artists, you know, 2 days away. And then he's just, yeah, I had to go get a new dryer.
Yeah, that's awful. You know, like my life is not changing at all.
Real
I
life.
still have to do all this stuff, still living with my roommates and just doing my thing, you know. So yeah, you have to balance all the cool stuff with the grounding stuff that brings you back to the actual life. So yeah, that was a fun morning the other day. Loved it.
Much respect. Let's see. Question for the group. Kylo Design says, what do you think about the value of scarcity and rarity in NFTs? How important is that for the collectors? Is it the more mints, the better, rarity, or a good balance of the two?
I think it once again depends. I think what we're seeing right now as the space expands so much is more people interested in the art than mints can be made. So, for example, like I know a bunch of collectors, first of all, that only buy 101s. There's a pretty good portion of collectors who don't do open editions and don't do multiple editions just because they value the scarcity. So I think that's important to note, that there is like a decent, I don't know, it's 5%, 10% of the big collectors out there really don't mess with anything besides 101s. So that's something to think about. I think what we see like happening on Nifty lately with like the insane amount of open editions, I think that it looks like a lot. Like, for example, like when people did his drop a few months ago in Nifty, and there was 200 something of each of his things minted. At the time, that was a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
I remember that.
In addition,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking like, damn, like I don't know how much these are going to go up in value because there's 200 of them floating around out there of each. And now
That's
that's
the same thing.
yeah, now that's like nothing because
Mhm.
like we just saw Trevor Jones drop who had 4,000 mints on
Oh,
on
yeah.
edition. And that just like shows you that like the user base has probably more than 20x'd since then, probably closer to 100x. I'm sure if people did another open edition right now,
Oh,
you'd have 10,000 minted.
Oh yeah.
Like
for sure.
Yeah.
so, and
Yeah.
and as the space continues to grow, I think, and as this becomes mainstream, we'll see that like, in a year from now, like I don't know how much those Beeples will go for, but there's going to be way more than 200 people out there who want them, and we're already obviously seeing that. So I
Sure.
think what we're seeing right now with all the open editions being mentioned, the multiple editions, we're still in a place where this scene is expanding every day and every day, and it's almost impossible to oversell an open edition right now just because there's going to be another 2,000 people who want it, and that's going to slow down and cap out at some point. I don't know when, but eventually it's gonna reach a spot where maybe all the buyers who want to buy stuff are in this space and active on these platforms and know about it. That could happen tomorrow. That could happen in a year from now. That could happen in 5 years from now. It could happen really at any point. Something to think about and be wary of, I think. So a good balance is going to be my final answer.
Good balance.
Well said, man. That's it. That's the explanation. The explanation. Sorry. Yeah, it's wild because I remember I didn't have like a huge balance on my Nifty account when that Beeple open edition took place, and I was like, oh gosh, that's so much money. I cannot, and I just didn't do it, because I was like, I can't, like it's too much for me. But looking back now, I'm like, God, what a mistake. But it's gonna happen all the time,
Yeah.
and probably that, like, I don't know if I bought something from Blake Catherine, probably that is going to be the same thing where her work could just pop off like crazy in the next few months, and then I'll be glad to have purchased something, and someone else would be like, oh shit, I missed the boat, So
Yeah.
you have to choose your fights. It's like it's really hard not to feel like bad or regretful about those things, but it's important to stay cold towards that. I feel like I've learned so much about that in the past few months, especially for that Beeple thing. I know I did took off. I cashed out some Ethereums when I first started because I was so scared. Another decision that I was like, well, that was not a good one. But yeah, it's all a learning process, and this is like part of it. So next time something happens, I might go in and not look and don't think too much. Don't think too much ahead, and just support people. Because I should have done it back then, but you cannot change that.
So I guess a quick tangent on that. I want to give a couple people a shout out. There was a good Twitter conversation this week. David Lisser kicked it off, and Malavita was in there, and I was in there as well. And he'd asked both Malavita and I for some advice around a certain thing. And one of the most powerful pieces of advice to come out of it is just this: FOMO opportunities are everywhere right now. Everywhere. You can look to your left and find 17 of them. You can look to your right and find another 32 of them. We're all missing out on stuff every day. We're all making like mistakes every day. And we're also doing a whole lot right every day. And I just think it becomes a game of where is your focus? And your focus can never be 100% in one place. That's too much to ask, right? We're always we're going to look a little over here and be like, miss that one. But I guess my takeaway there is the greater percentage of your focus that you can bring over to, you're doing a lot right, and kind of keep your eye there. Maybe learn a quick lesson from something over here and use that in the future, but then turn your eye right back and just realize there will never be a time when a FOMO opportunity does not exist for you.
Yeah. And if I can add on top of this, my friend Too Much Lag gave me this great piece of advice. He said, because I was asking him, what altcoins are worth investing, and like, what should I do with, like, should I invest in Bitcoin right now? Is it a good time? And he's like, dude, if you focus on your art, you'll make far more than trying to figure out which altcoin is going to pop off. And I feel like this is great advice. What you can do as an artist is invest in yourself, and that's the best value you can invest in yourself. You should be your own altcoin.
Ooh,
Tag me
Ooh.
later.
drops the quote of the.
Be your own altcoin.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
I feel like that's great advice.
I
So I
totally.
tend-
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Tommy.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I have to tell myself this a lot with like even baseball, art, anything. It's like you got to really just focus on like controlling what you can control. You know what I mean? It's like you can't control what the price of a certain altcoin is going to be, but you can control like how much you put into your art and whatnot. And it's just like with any of this stuff, it's like control what you can control, and then like whatever happens, like just focus on yourself, and it'll all work out.
Yeah, that's just amazing advice. So
Be your own altcoin.
Good
respect
advice.
to much lag.
Yes.
That's what NFTs do, though, right? That's pretty much, our art becomes the token.
Yeah.
There you go. Too much lag. I feel like he just tweeted about it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good
I
stuff.
love this.
And David Litzer, cheers for the shout out, fellas. So good stuff on both fronts. We got some community involvement. Parrot, we both love that. We both love when people get involved. I think it just fires up the whole ambiance of the experience.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's give the proper credit around. Let's go. Tommy, thank you for joining us first today. Your origin story comes out tomorrow. And I feel awesome about that you're right next to Alexi, because you guys shared this week in terms of the origin story spotlight. Alexi's, yours was out on Tuesday. You're heading into such a big night tonight. We are all rooting for you. I'm sure we'll all be there. We're all watching. Maybe you can replace your Pabst cup for a real Pabst if you're so inclined at some point. Probably will be warranted at some point in the night.
Yeah, I'll make sure to grab a good beer or nice gin tonic. It's gonna help me out.
There you go.
Yeah, but thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's a huge day, and I'll try to take pictures with my mind to remember it for the longest time. Yeah.
Or you can always just right click save as and
yeah, right. We can just do that. So easy. Yeah, so cool.
And Parrot, shout out to you, man. Killing it as always. This man is on the rise. I don't know if anyone's seeing it, but it's just boom, boom, boom. It just keeps happening. So
love the work.
Yep. Agreed.
The series you made for Bisky is just awesome. I actually wrote down to go and purchase one, so it's on my to-do list. I'll come by to get one. Yeah.
We'll swap.
I just like it.
Right, because I'm grabbing some of your art too.
I love that.
The ecosystem goes around and around and around. You gotta love it. We say it every week. It's a special time right now. Personally, just really happy to be here with you guys. A good vibe today. Special times in here as well. Thanks, man.
Really, it's awesome.
We'll be back next week, Roger and I, next Thursday. That's the day before my Nifty drop, so that's exciting.
Oh yeah, that's so true. I'll be there. I'll show up.
Yep. You got two interviews coming out as well next week, Roger?
We sure do. Do we want to tease it? I'm gonna tease it. Let's see. I'm gonna hold off. I got two awesome recordings tomorrow. I have to talk to two wonderful human beings. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave everyone hanging. Because we got Tommy tomorrow, and the names are different. They're different. They're themed a little bit differently in terms of the type of art that each of these human beings are doing. I'm not going to give any hints. Just know it's going in a little bit of a different artistic direction from some of the other origin stories, and I think it's going to be well received when the time comes.
Exciting.
Looking forward to it.
Interesting. The tease. It's awesome.
Sweet. Thanks again, Alexi and Tommy. That was
My
super
pleasure.
fun.
Thanks for having us.
Today. It was nice talking to y'all face to face. That's what my favorite thing about this is. I see you guys on Twitter all the time, and seeing you guys smile and hearing your voice, it just adds to that connection and feeling a community here.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, guys. It's awesome and nice to meet you, Tommy. I'll always keep an eye out for what you do.
You as well, man. Good luck with the drop tonight.
Appreciate
It's
it.
gonna be sick. It's gonna be sweet.
Sweet. Well,
Let's
thanks,
go
guys.
for you. 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Nifty Gateway Eastern time. 7 o'clock Eastern time. Nifty Gateway.
Less than
Let's
2
go.
hours.
Let's go.
Let's
Don't
go.
be scared. Don't be scared. No fear, everybody. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
Much-
Over
much
and out.
love.